I forgot to get myself something to drink. So here we
So
are
did
recording.
I have some soju in the freezer. Some. This is gonna sound gross to some people, but it's Yakult flavored soju. It tastes
soju,
like
is that the
it's
that's
the Korean like alcohol.
yeah
Dude, one bottle of those
soju.
like this little, you're
Uh-huh.
gone. That stuff is so strong.
But what does it taste like though?
Well, they have flavored ones. So like the one that
Okay.
I have, it literally tastes like yogurt. It's wild.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get some of that because I'd be
And
trying
it's
anything at this point.
because they taste so good. You just drink
You don't
it
even
like
realize it.
water. Yeah, it's
Well,
bad.
delicious.
But
Okay, well, let's welcome Francisco to the podcast, to the Big Gay Pod.
hello.
Francisco, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a very straight man in that I like really gay things.
There you go. You're gay where it matters.
Yeah, no, I'm gay. I am gay. I think.
Okay.
I'm
Hey, are you gay?
Maybe. I don't know. I've always wondered. Does this feel good? If you think that, red flag. It probably means that it does feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm an artist. I paint and I like cool stuff and food.
There we go. In Star Wars.
Yeah, and then dogs. I think you just saw my dog.
I see the dog in the background.
And then my lightsaber is over here somewhere.
That's so good. See that?
Yeah.
All right, well, good. Well, today we're going to discuss something that I guess everybody's talking about. If you've been on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, if you've been on these places and not under a rock, the hot topic right now is the Jeffrey Dahmer
or
Netflix
inside the
series.
fridge. If you haven't been under a rock or inside the fridge.
Or inside of a box, inside of the closet.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, that was horrible.
Who was the head? Was that the original guy in the head? Like it was so weird.
Dude.
I never saw who it was.
I mean, so the bad part with things that they discovered, because, there's really horrible, like, viewer discretion is advised if you go online and you're daring. They have pictures of like the heads.
I've seen some. Yeah, so I've seen a couple, and I was just like, I can't.
There's several. I mean, I don't have any words for it.
Yeah, so. It's hard, but but I figured we'll just discuss the whole series briefly or long.
Yeah,
just and then just kind of I don't know, man. It just a lot of people couldn't make it through.
No, okay, and that's where I wanted to start. So
yeah, good.
So I'm gonna just say this: the genius behind the guts it took to produce this. So Ryan Murphy, and I was thinking about this earlier, right? So think about other shows like Candy. I don't know if you've seen that. That's the lady
I've heard about that one
from here in Texas that acts as just an axe murderer.
Right.
You have The Staircase, which is another TV show that was based, on the real life. Then you'll have like the Feud, which is like the Betty Davis, Joan Crawford. We all know these things, to some degree happened, but when this show starts. And we know that we haven't even seen his face. We're just seeing torso, hands, arms.
You know what's going on, yeah.
It's like impending doom because there is not one person that doesn't know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, right? And not for for any good reason.
Right.
So what I was thinking about earlier is how I'm like my guts were already like this when the show started. I'm like,
well, because you knew what was going to happen. The thing is, you didn't know which guy this was. You just knew it's going to happen. And the whole episode, the whole episode was like, an hour long? It literally was the entire, almost, I can say like real-time version of like what actually happened.
An actual situation, yeah.
Right.
I cried.
It was,
and I have no shame in saying that.
My antidepressant stopped me from crying, so I was like really close, but I was just like, this is heavy. This is a lot.
And when he got away is when I finally was like, okay, nothing happened to him. I'm gonna let it all out, and I just had tears.
And once he got away, I knew who he was because I have a friend who's like really big into Jeffrey Dahmer. He's not gay, so he's not on the podcast. But no, I'm just kidding. But he's really
That's too bad. Be gay, please. I'm just kidding.
Be gay. Right. No. We'll reject his application. But like, he's really into it. So he told me there was one guy who got away. So once I saw that guy got away, I'm like, okay, this is Tracy. He got away. Yeah. I know how that went. But like, just I was more uncomfortable with like his demeanor of like, sit with me, stay here. Like, and I mean, I know Tracy had to give his account of what happened and Dahmer put it together, but like to like reimagine it like that was just crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just the first fucking episode. And I was like, if this is the first episode and you got 10 episodes, how deep are you going to go? And they went deep.
Yeah. I mean, that had the magnitude of like a season finale for like a TV show. Yeah, like nowadays, everything bad and big happens at the series, finale or
right.
Or
you could have did that and stopped. You could have did that one episode and stopped.
And that was it. Yeah, exactly. How was he arrested? What happened like prior to?
That's it.
So, I think to me, this was like, so it was like, the whole time I was like, God, this is why executive producers like Ryan Murphy are so great. I'm like, he's literally holding you by your tie from a 25,000 feet fall into a cliff where there's like flames of hell at the bottom. And then also Satan's mouth is like open.
It's like,
but he's holding you, but he's not letting go the whole time. And every time that something bad happens in the show, because it does this, and I'm like, okay,
it's very up and down.
Yeah, and so I did cry, dude. I was like, Alan.
It happened.
My boyfriend was like, hey, have you watched Jeffrey Dahmer? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I haven't. And this was prior to this weekend. Oh well, I watched episode 1 and 2. You should watch it too, so that we can watch it together. And I didn't, and then I waited until I watched it, with him. And I'm like, you wanted me to watch this by myself? Like,
yeah. And see, Patrice hasn't watched it yet, so I'm like, I'm gonna watch it with him, but like, he's gonna be confused because the dates jump a lot and a lot happens.
They do.
And that was the hard part to kind of keep up with. I was like, I was hoping his glasses would change or his hairstyle would change. I'm like, no, this motherfucker is a basic white guy. He gonna look the same all the way through.
The whole time. Yeah. No style, no seasoning of any kind.
No, none. Just NyQuil chicken. Just chicken and NyQuil. Just
oh my God, yes, the chicken and NyQuil thing.
Chicken and
NyQuil. Like, what is that? It's wild.
That's pretty much how he is. He was chicken with a little NyQuil, kind of,
And then,
crazy.
The wildest thing throughout, I mean, even just a TV show and then like our knowledge of this happening.
Right.
The race card, right? The fact that
I didn't know it was as bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Oh shit, hold on. I forgot to press a button.
Well, the whole thing with it, and I was thinking about it. Right. It's not like this happened in the 60s or the 50s even, because even there was still segregation at that point.
It was like the 80s.
This was in the 80s, 90s, like.
But I remember being a kid. Sorry, you weren't born, but yeah, I remember being a kid.
You were a kid.
I was a kid in the 80s. Yes, no, bitch. I became this.
You just weren't open your eyes and you were like, oh, I'm doing the big gay pod all of a sudden.
Exactly. But no, like, I remember the 80s. I think I was just clueless to stuff like that because I was a kid. I didn't pay attention to that,
Yeah.
And as I got older, I didn't notice anything either because we're in our own little world. Like, we're in our own bubble.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the scary part of it was, like we were talking about Niecy and how she's kind of the hero of all of this,
right?
Where the injustice of just like, well, she's calling us, this crazy lady's calling us all the time.
She keeps calling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because it was like a crack house in a poor neighborhood and then like in a black neighborhood, and
it was all that.
Part of that.
It was all that.
Yeah.
So what it is Glenda Cleveland actually is two people, because a lot of times in these shows they can't have all these characters, so sometimes they'll like combine characters into one person.
Right.
So Glenda Cleveland was actually like his neighbor who was in another building. And the other person, I forgot her name. I wrote it down somewhere, but I think her last name was like Bass or something like that. Bass.
Mm-hmm.
She was his actual neighbor, but she was across the hall from him. So she heard the noises, she heard the sawing, all that kind of stuff, and she smelled the smell. Could you imagine a smell that can come out of your apartment across the hall into another apartment?
Ugh.
You know? And
he did. I mean, honestly,
he did make that sandwich for her, which I'm assuming was probably skin. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it like that, like all this stuff that could have potentially happened,
right?
I mean, it's really unnerving.
But also the thing was like the situation with the 14-year-old, long name, kind of hard to say, but where like he had made him into a zombie. He was actually got out the apartment and went downstairs, and it's like you're in a poor neighborhood, just got a little, Asian boy, whatever. That's my boyfriend. Oh, I'll believe you, white guy. That's your boyfriend. Okay, go ahead. Take him on upstairs. Let's walk upstairs.
Right, you have a more credible story to tell than everybody else does. You know what I hate? Mm-hmm. I kind of almost wish that there had been someone compassionate enough at the time that was gay that and maybe this is just me saying this out of kindness, and it's not correct either, because he was still, I mean, they go over the whole entire disorder, I guess, that he has, kind like the scientific kind of, but I wish there was, I wish there was someone kind enough at that point to say, man, this guy like really needs someone to be with him. Because I feel like regardless of whatever that disorder was that he had, which ultimately may have even caused this at all.
Right.
The guy was lonely, and he didn't have any friends, didn't have anyone, never dated anyone. And if he did, he killed them and he ate them. Like,
because sexually he couldn't be aroused unless they were dead or sleeping or
unless they were guts.
In some state of unconsciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
sick.
The whole thing with the mannequin, I remember thinking, oh, why would he want that? I'm like, is he just attracted to the mannequin because it's like in perfect shape?
Nope, because it doesn't move.
It's exactly what you're saying.
It doesn't move. And kind of think now I'm kind of blaming the grandma. You know what, grandma? It's all your fucking fault. You should let him keep his damn mannequin. He wouldn't have killed nobody. Or why not get a job at a morgue? You know?
Well,
lay with bodies, bro. Every night you got a different body. You can roll up with it.
As morbid and horrible as that sounds, that would have probably solved a lot of things.
Yeah, and I mean, not like we're trying to like help him, but it's still like a kind of know, we're not gonna. But it's like I'm not gonna take fault for him being fucked up. But there were so many times and signs where like something could have happened.
Right.
You know. Or
absolutely. I mean, people have their
when they say something going on.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely people that have outlets for things, and it's not necessarily necessary that it's all bad stuff. Like musicians make music, photographers take photography, or photographies.
We take photographs.
Right. Why did I say that? Language barrier.
Because we take photography. Yeah.
You take pictures.
Better like picture.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? There's an outlet for everything.
Yes.
I think that if he would have maybe had a little more guidance to say, hey, killing people's not right. And he would have said, oh, I really like being with people that don't move.
But it comes back to like a lot of times the parents, his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
His dad true. And he would like help him get shit off the side of the road, and they dissect it.
Okay. That was the craziest part.
But they didn't stuff nothing. Y'all did taxidermy, but y'all never I didn't see like fucking raccoons around their house, stuffed.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. There was a lot of let's look into the insides of this animal, and then, okay, we're done. Right. That's it. Nothing else.
And I never heard the angle before anywhere else where the dad said, I was like you. I've never heard that part ever. And
then the mom, the freaking, schizophrenic
mom, she had all kinds of issues.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, kids see things. I mean, you have kids, right? Kids see all kinds of things that in one way or another affect their behavior unconsciously. I mean, if you say something that your kid is not aware of, but kind of just overheard it or something. They're going to go use that at the school, and then you're going to get a call and say, oh, well, your kid said this.
Right.
Maybe you didn't teach them, obviously, but I feel like a lot of the just maybe anger that he had packed came from his childhood.
Yeah, the lack of parents. I mean, like if he got in trouble, they come to the school and they're not even taking accountability for it.
Yeah,
you know, his dad really pacified a lot of it.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to America.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I mean, that scene where he was saying, you know what, we're going to get into Ohio State, like just completely get
oblivious to the fact of how crazy your son is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we'll help you, son. Like,
and then when you pick him up from college, it's like, you're going to the Army. Like,
yeah,
okay, so I don't want to deal with it. Let me just make you the country's problem. And then when he gets discharged from the Army, you're like, go live with your grandma.
Yeah, because that's any better idea.
Right, because she's got dementia. Sure, go by her.
Right, exactly.
You know, you can help her out, Jeff. Let me send the crazy kid over there by grandma.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, I don't know. It almost just seemed like, honestly, like he just really had separation anxiety. His mom left him. Yeah. Didn't want him. His dad went with his girlfriend. He was in his house for 3 months by himself. And
mom left him.
He just had separation anxiety. He didn't want anybody to leave him. You know?
Yeah. So a mix of I forget what, and I think I had it pulled up like earlier or something, but where is it? Splanknophilia. That's what
Splanknophilia. What's that?
Splanknophilia. So where he found the organs and stuff like that, the inside organs of a human body sexually attractive, which is wild,
which is weird. The only organ I'm attracted to is a penis still in the skin. I don't want to be like, cut it out.
That would be So I think a mixture of both. Yeah, you know, the two things. Yeah. It's like, oh, I can't have anybody. Oh, now I can have you, but I don't want you. I want your guts.
Right.
You know?
I want your gut. Like, just lay here naked and let me pull your stomach out. It's sick,
dude.
It's really it's beyond crazy. The other thing I liked, I guess, about the whole series was the fact that like it gave you a look inside the victims, because a lot of times, a lot of these stories and movies like pump up the serial killer,
the jam. I'm just kidding,
exactly, glorify him, sexualize him. I mean, there were moments where he was sexy, but it's like, oh, you're sexy, but you're gross, you're covered in blood, or it's like, no, there's so many other white guys. That's just
the first episode, and that's a great point too, because the like the whole thing with they started doing shows like this on TV where it's this, but it's from this perspective, which we never saw before. Like,
which is great.
Yeah, like Star Trek Discovery, for example. It wasn't from the captain's point of view. It was like from
the nerd is coming out. Everybody, the nerd is coming out. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
I said the nerd is coming out. The nerd is coming out.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. No, but
you're talking about but that's good to do from a different point of view like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all used.
Just like I think now, a lot of them are like that.
Yeah, I think we were missing that, and it's being normalized now, and I think that's a good thing for seeing other aspects of dealing with stuff like someone trying to eat your guts.
Right. I mean, it's just what I'm glad is that they never showed the person's head get drilled into, or him putting the acid in there. Like, you heard the drill, you saw the drill, you knew it was about to happen, but I feel like I don't think I could have handled actually seeing it. I was totally okay with him bludgeoning the guy with the dumbbell. I'm like, okay, cool. I watch that in movies all the time.
Yeah,
I'm fine with all that. When he got his ass bust, I'm fine with all that. But like, the drill, nope. I felt that like in my heart. Like, I felt that in my soul. I'd have been trying to find that kid's family and be like, can I send y'all some money?
Yeah.
Let me put some money on your books. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for it. Let me start a GoFundMe for you.
Let's start a GoFundMe for you.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
They opened up the V4. I think that's what it's called. The tank, or the little barrel thing he had in the show. I gotta tell you, after I stopped crying, because I cried for a while. I literally was sick to my stomach for the rest of the day because I could not get certain images out of my head. Like when they open the fridge and there is a head in there, and it's just like, you know.
But you know, he would eat the parts. I think he had somebody's penis in the fridge. He had a lot of different things, and I read again because I read it all because I just wanted to see, and it's crazy.
There was. Yeah, sorry to the viewers and listeners, but for the couple of images before all of this, when I was just doing kind of research, there is an image of like two severed hands, the head, and then like male genitalia. It's
just
like
in the fridge. Like why?
In the fridge, yeah.
But see, even that is like that shows a certain like mental block that you can like come home to that smell or like to the look of that. Like, how are you a normal person? Like, I feel like he should have been dirty outside. Like, I feel like there's no point he should have been clean. You could have looked at him and been like, man, something ain't right with that dude. Like, his nails are always dirty. His clothes are always bloody.
He always has blood on his shirt.
Right. But I guess if you live in the hood, nobody pays attention to you like that.
Right, exactly. That's the other thing. If you do live in the hood, nobody's going to care.
Nobody. I lived in the hood. Nobody cared. We saw all kinds of stuff.
Same here. I lived in the slums.
Nigga, wasn't you in Oak Cliff?
That's my hood. I never did live in Oak Cliff, but I was pretty close. I did live in the slums. But yeah, no, I mean, nobody cares about that. It's like, if you're from around there, you're good. People notice who you are, but then that's it. Nobody messes with you. But if we get an outsider, it's like, oh, who is that? Like,
right. Everybody's like, yeah, who that is? You know who that is? I don't know who that is. Call across the street. Yeah, who's that? You know who that is? He not here. No. Hey, man, you got to go. And that's just how the hood should be. And that's probably how that was. They were like, oh, that's just Jeff.
Exactly.
And then that's just Jeff.
The thing for like that whole area is like, well, he's just some skinny white dude. He probably does a lot of crack. Yeah. Leave him alone. Who cares?
Or the fact, like, when he went to the bathhouse and got kicked out, like, you brought a guy there to drug him and then left him there, and then thought you could come back. Like, where's the mental block in your head to think I can go back there?
Yeah. Okay. That whole part where my whole thing as a gay man, because here's the thing, right? Today's society is very just centered in beauty standards and how one should react to certain things and be how you could be in the best way possible to be like an A-lister or whatever, the fuck like that. With like a gay bathhouse like that, and I've never been, but like I thought of like Club Dallas. I think that's what it's called. It's like one of the gay bathhouses here in Dallas.
It's like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck. Can you imagine something like that happening there? It's so scary, and it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to a couple like bookstores that were kind of sketchy, and I'm like, there's a smell in that kind of bookstore that you could never forget, and if you go anywhere else, you can smell that, and you can automatically know.
And it just lives in your head.
Coming in here, and they use bleach to clean everything with. Like, that's it. They clean with bleach, and there's cum everywhere. It'll light up like a 4th of July.
Like Trixie Mattel said, the whole hallway smells like cum.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. The door's open. It's very judgmental. Don't come in. I don't want to have sex with you. But like,
and then this is one other topic, right? So like, I thought of my hooking up days whenever I had just had a nap and I found a hot guy, and I was like, I mean, did I say that out loud? When I used to meet guys for dinner and go on nice fine and wine anyway. Think of shit like that. Find a hot guy where you're just scrolling. Oh, you're hot. Oh, I would like to do this. Oh, come over.
It could have been him. He could have been one of them.
It could have been him. Yeah.
I can't think of one time I had a hookup where I thought I should have like an exit plan. I should have like a weapon.
You don't think of those things because you're like, oh,
what am I going to do if he bites my dick? Like, what's going to happen? Like, what's my instinct? Yeah. Now I'm like, no.
I'm
good.
Right, exactly. I'm partnered up. I don't have to worry about any of that shit. But I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, how easy is it to go out to a club and you like a guy and you go, hey, how's it going? Can I buy you a drink? You're pretty cute. Fine. It's fine there until let's go to your place, and then episode 1 happens.
Yeah, but okay, but here's the thing. There are parts of how those interactions were where you need to have red flags. And I have friends who probably won't listen to this podcast, so I can talk about them. But like, I'm older. I'm an older guy. And so he told me things that somebody said. And I go, oh, he wants to fuck. He's like, no, he's just a friend. We've been friends for X amount of years. And he just wanted to come and eat with me because I was feeling down. I go, this man wants to dick you down. He's like, no. But there were signs. And I'm like, there are signs that I know as an older person that I see clues for. And he saw the clues. And then when it happened, he was like, guess what happened? I'm like, what? We had sex. I'm like, exactly. I told you what was happening here. But like a lot of times they're so clueless. And I'm like, man, look, y'all need to be aware of people's intentions. Cause like, what if you got in a bad situation? Like, what if you were just la-di-da, and then all of a sudden,
And see, I was going to say, that's the other thing. Like when you have someone that's like a good friend, you're not worried about your friend. You're worried for your friend and the other person's intentions. That's the part that most people, and I'm not I'm like
a
psychologist or anything, but it's like, bro, I'm letting you know that may happen because
this is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't let him drive you to his house. You drive to his house. Text me his address. Exactly. I'll see where it's at. Exactly. Leave your shoes on. I don't fucking know. Like so many things. Don't let the nigga lock the door behind you. Like, check if his roommate is there too. Oh, yeah, it's been all those situations. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, okay, so like me, just being attracted to like older men and stuff. At some point in my life, I became of the idea of, this man is a lot heavier than me. I could easily be kidnapped if I did a night where I went out to the bar and then we just went back to his place and I just passed out. What the fuck do I wake up in Costa Rica? Like when I wake up and now I'm just like a part of like, you know what I mean? Like sex trafficking or something.
Now you're sex trafficked. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know. Anything to satiate that, but
but I get it though. It's like why do you put yourself in those kind of situations? And there were times where like they always tell you, we tell girls all the time, hey, listen, don't take a drink from a guy. Watch the person make the drink. Only get a drink that's opened. Like there's so many things.
So you want to hear the funny part about this? I when the pandemic happened, I was so used to being surrounded by people and seeing people. I mean, I had art shows, as you know, and stuff like that. When the pandemic happened, I had a period of time where I didn't know how to deal with being with myself. And so, got over it. I'm clearly in an apartment by myself now. But here's the thing. Talk about putting yourself in situations like that. Now I say, you know what? I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to drive anywhere.
Yeah, same way. Same.
I'm a cave troll, and I'm okay with it because I'm comfortable. And
my kids wanted to go to Olive Garden. I was like, you don't just want to order to go? I got to sit in here with these people.
Yeah, I have to dress up.
I have to put on pants.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and a lot of times I'll have like my sister would be like, I went to the club last night and this people got into a fight and somebody threw a bunch of like acid or something wild. I'm like, why were you there?
What the fuck? Why were you there? Like when you heard a commotion, did you pull your phone out and record it? Or did you start leaving? Like, did you get the fuck out?